In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots.
F.U. Hunter.
Your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May the schlock be with you.
The views and opinions expressed on Geekfather are those of the panelists and not those of the Geeks Under the Influence Network, their affiliates, or sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. This is for the parents and not for the kiddies.
Geekfire!
Can you try one more time? Say Geekfather real loud.
Geekfire way out! I just did it.
Hey guys, welcome back. That's right. We are in a brand new episode of The Geekfathers, and actually a full episode this time.
That's right.
Yes, finally. And as you know, the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent, we can't always do what we want to do, but we still made sure that content was to you guys. You guys knew what was going on for here at the Geekfathers. So if you're hearing all the wild excuses from the previous mini episodes, that's right, I am Scotty P. Just doing what I can to the glue of this show. As I say that somewhat sarcastically.
Your 80s power fist up in the air?
I refuse to do Jersey Shore. I like that. It's an 80s power fist for sure.
Who am I, motherfucker? Then who am I?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're Kyle Smash, actually.
What's going on, man?
Hey, man. Welcome. Full episode this time around, thankfully. I know, again, guys, no one is mad. No one is upset. I hope you guys are still keeping up with everything. But like I say, it's the parenting way, man. Sometimes we have to make the sacrifices.
We have a show about being parents,
right?
Geeky parents. But parents is the core. That's the main word there. So it gets difficult to...
Ebb and flow, man.
That's all.
Ebb and flow. So... But welcome back. Good to be back in the Smash household for recording. So
glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Always a pleasure. And guys, hopefully everybody is holding tight there. I know it definitely doesn't feel like springtime is upon us with the way the weather's been still a little bit chilly outside. But guys, it is approaching fast. And if you are parents, you know you have things like spring break.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, it will be summertime. Yeah. So we figured we'd go ahead and jump the gun here a little bit, if so to say. We're definitely putting everything out there on Front Street that we... And let's just say with today's economic age, we're jumping right in this episode because I'm so stoked to actually have our full episode going here. We've talked about a couple times just economics, the way the world is running right now. Real difficult. But yet we still see all the stuff there. And it's business as usual for those amusement parks. Locally here, we've got our King's Dominion, the Busch Gardens. But then you look at some of the bigger ones like Disney, the Star Wars worlds, and everything.
Well, forget about it. Disney, Orlando, that's...
Unless you're already in a certain tax bracket right now, it's going to be very difficult. Yeah. And that's part of the
you
frustration.
Live locally and can get season passes. Which, in my expert opinion, on going to theme parks is the best way to go. At least to cut cost.
For sure. Whenever possible, season pass is definitely the bee's knees to... Even if you don't use it the way you want to, there is still some type of savings there. And for any parent, saving that dollar, that penny... can make a huge difference in the budget.
That's right.
So, but we were just talking about just because the way things are going and the way we try to plan things out is, man, I was telling you, I haven't even taken my kids to the King's Dominion, to Busch Gardens. My kids have never been.
Love how you call it to the King's Dominion.
Well, the Facebooks and the interwebs and...
the Spacebook.
The Spacebook. Yeah. I remember that one, yeah.
The foosball, Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher. He'd be playing with the devil. The devil. All right, that's enough Adam Sandler, I think, for this episode.
Terrible. We're both very terrible.
Yeah, I never said our impressions were great. So, But it falls in line again. We tend to stay away from, because on a personal level we deep dive into some of the politics and stuff. But on the show here, we don't like to do that deep dive because we'd rather talk about the kids. And even though we may talk about not the best things in life, they're still part of the everyday things in life.
Right.
So trying to stay positive still. Amusement parks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's face it, here in Virginia, we are going to be lucky enough to hit up King's Dominion on any type of regular basis.
Sure. I mean, it's 20 to 30 minutes, depending on where you live, for the closer.
Sure. Just where your interstate exit is.
Sure.
So to say,
And it's a great time. I can tell you that this past season, usually I do Busch Gardens. This past season, I did King's Dominion.
Okay.
And, they have great setups for you to be able to get into the park to do things. But paying for things in the park, that is a whole different different story. That's like paying a ticket for a movie.
Right.
But your popcorn is more than the ticket you just paid for.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I take the dollar store candy with me to the movie, but that's a different subject altogether. A little bit harder to do in the amusement park. There are ways around it, of course, because I believe now. You're more of the expert on this one because you've been more recently. It's been a hot minute since I've really hit a amusement park. Like I've done some of the smaller carnivals and stuff like that over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But Busch Gardens, King's Dominion, and stuff like that, man, it's been a hot minute since I've been there. Now, one of the last times I do remember is that if you do it right, there are still picnic areas. You could technically pack a lunch. If you really, if you go, and I don't even want to call it the penny pincher route because that's just being.
Well, first off, you should. You absolutely should because that park's gonna make money regardless.
Exactly.
And they're gonna make it in different ways. So if you you're average middle class or lower middle class, or you're damn near poor, but you decide that
you're able to afford this.
I got a couple,
pass,
or even if you just got a couple of free tickets, but you go into the park and you go,
I got to spend $20 on a corn dog.
$20 on a corn dog, and I've got 2-3 kids with me. Like, how the fuck could I possibly afford that?
Right.
So that's where it gets difficult. And I was just trying to look up the different prices with some of the major theme parks as well as ours. And I'll tell you one thing I came across, and I'll tell you personally, I've been to Disney, and that was hands down the most expensive thing ever.
It's probably been close to 20 years since I've been to Disney or anything related to Disney.
It was about 5 years. Yeah, but almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
My daughter was 6 when we went.
Right.
So it was one of the more expensive adventures of my life. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
A very short, we over the weekend, so 3 days or 2-3 days of the park, and you're paying per day and per park. So Disney World they have several parks.
Right.
It's not just that's just the name that encompasses all these things.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they have their Hollywood theme park. They have the Animal Kingdom. They have the
they have all the Star Wars.
The Star Wars ones
now,
or Marvel now.
Yeah.
So, but each one of those is a park. That's your one day experience. So you're not. So but you can get a jumper pass, right? So a jumper pass is where you can go from each park within a day.
Right.
But you can believe that those are expensive. Now.
Oh yeah.
With everything that's gone on over the past few years, I will say that when I went, things were at its peak. Things were running at its peak. We were, in terms of, we're in comparison. After pre-pandemic.
We'll say the old normal.
Right, the
old normal.
The old normal. And at that time, it would have been more expensive because I think that they've cut prices. So saying all that, I've just looked at the tickets for something like Disney World or Disneyland. And if you're going to take 3 people, so 2 adults and a kid, essentially if you're going to go for I think it was 3 days now, they definitely lowered in price. For 3 days, it looked like it was about $500.
Now that's just park access.
That's just one park access.
Okay.
One park.
1 day for 3 people.
Yeah, a 1 day theme park, 1 park per day ticket. And so those are on days if that's tomorrow, that's a Friday, but you better believe on the weekends it's probably going to jump.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
But if you do like a 1 day, if you do a 1 day theme park ticket with a hopper option, which gives you the option to go to one other park,
right,
for about let's say three adults, and this haven't added in taxes, fees, anything.
Right. That's
about $650 to $700.
God.
So if you look at that, and that's just 1 day. That's 1 day. So who the hell goes on a vacation for 1 day, right? Unless you choose to like go to the park for 1 day and experience what you can in that one theme park within Disney or something, and then go and travel to like the beach. That's one thing.
Like I had my grandparents that lived down in Florida at one point, so it was easier to go down and see them, and then depending on how the family was financially at the time, if we were able to make a day at. Now, granted, the last time that was a normal thing for me was before all that stuff. You basically had Disney, which was Epcot Center, and what was the other one? It was basically only two or three sections.
Yeah.
At the time, and it was a long, long time ago, and not in a galaxy very far away.
No.
So things have changed a lot with that, and we'll say generally with businesses, yes, prices have gone up, but for some of that stuff, holy shit. Like, it's like, I feel like you've got to take out a loan just to be able to take your family on vacation somewhere, For 3 days
at the park, let's say, that's about close to $1,300. I think that's just one, I think it's just one park, too. I don't know if that's not multiple parks.
Yeah, that's one park per day. Like, you can do one park and then do a different one Saturday, do a different one Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's scary expensive. There was, and what made me think of this was there was a review I saw of the new I think it was the Marvel themed hotel. I want to say it's the Marvel.
They've expanded so much stuff over the years.
It's the Marvel's Adventures Campus. No, it was the Star Wars experience, and it was like you were fully immersed in this world, right?
Yeah,
and I think it was like $6,000 or $6,000 a night or some ridiculous number. And the article essentially, the article was really good. It's a comparison of like, what's really worth it? Is it really worth it to you? Now, if that's pocket change to you, then that's nothing.
Right, absolutely. Well, that's a given on any conversation we're having with this subject right now. I mean,
We're not rich should be the name of this.
No. We are definitely, we're hood rich when it comes to certain things, but when it comes to Disney or amusement parks, travel and stuff, we are not rich by any stretch of the imagination.
No, sir.
So, because what we're talking about price-wise as well is not even your travel cost and different things like that as well.
Hotel and
no hotel
and just general food costs. I mean, shit.
Because everywhere food is easily tripled in price.
Yeah.
Anywhere, even I'm not even talking about inside these parks. I'm talking about the places like does the McDonald's in Florida around Disney even have a $1 menu? Do they just have the $3 menu? Where it's just like, is anything even that cheap around those parks? Mm-hmm. Which you have to consider.
Yeah, you do. And it depends on, and a lot of that could be taken into account. Even the local ones like we have here, if you're coming from out of town, or if you want to stay there close to the park, there's options. They have RV spots. Disney, they have pretty cool. They have, I know I've seen, they have like large area of campgrounds or camping.
Oh, well, yeah.
Or cabins. So you can bring your own food. So cook your own food. Like,
hit the grocery store real quick, and
So there are cool options like that, but is it worth it? And that's the question.
Yeah.
How much can you afford, and what are you willing to spend for the memory as a parent?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because something nostalgic you want to share.
Because not even this specifically, but there have been things where we haven't done them with the boys for the sheer fact of, are they going to enjoy it? Are they actually going to be able to remember, have some type of memory from it? Like, just one of those good childhood memories? Or are we going to be dragging our boys around with them whining and complaining at everything? Now kids are going to be kids, like, I want this or I want to do this. And,
right.
And you compromise a little bit for a certain trip like that.
I mean, there's two certainties in life. Haters going to hate and kids going to cry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But is it worth the financial burden almost for some of these to, you know, like we're like I mentioned right from the get-go, that maybe, you know, this year or next year would be a good year to start with the boys for even something like King's Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
They've never done anything like that. We've done some small carnival stuff. They've ridden some rides. But is it time to do the big cross the line, big push into something like that? And obviously, you know, things can change year to year, but that first year is really going to be your baseline for, are my kids actually going to enjoy this? Or are they just going to whine and complain the whole time and talk about how they don't want to be there? And then they change their mind when you're done and say, I want to go back because of this or that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's one of those weird catch-22s, man.
Yeah.
It is. And that's like, that's where the age factor.
Just constantly running in a hamster wheel. It's like sometimes you just feel like that's, and you know, I mean, you know, hopefully, and especially if you're an excited nerd like we are, you know, we can find those little avenues of like, you know, we keep, even if we feel like we're running in circles, you know, we're trying to always look ahead, you know,
absolutely,
for your family as well as for yourself. So
yeah.
So even if that is the case, it's still pretty. You just got to keep looking forward. That's all you can do. If you don't have if you don't have the $20 or $50 in your pocket to do something, then you will next time.
Right.
And that's where the important things. It comes down to memory, nostalgia versus.
Because kids are always going to look for the big, flashy, whatever. That's a given. I mean,
well, essentially up to a certain age, they're fish. You know, they see something shiny, they're going to go for it.
Exactly.
You know, like, and so,
and it's you're choosing your battles. You are choosing your battles so many times when it comes to that stuff. Because I've definitely bought this stuff with the whole mindset of that's not going to last a week in our house.
Right.
It's either going to break because it's just cheap, or my kids are going to break it because of the way they play with it.
Yeah.
Am I spending too much money on it? Yes. Is it going to make them happy and have a better experience with this? I hope. So it's...
Well, that also brings into question... at what age is it worth it to give these certain memories? You know? Like, I mean, are they going to remember... If you do things at 4 or 5, are they going to remember 20 years down the road? Is it going to... How is that going to affect...
A few years ago, Logan and I did Monster Jam. We saw monster trucks. He loved it.
That's cool.
It was cool. We were having a great time, but intermission, because of the way he worked, because he was 4 or so, maybe 4 or 5, he was loving it, but that intermission happened to where nothing was happening.
And automatically gone.
He's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm done. I'm like, dude, they're about to come out in like just a few minutes. No, I'm done. Okay. I mean, we had a great time. He still remembers it. It's not a bad... I definitely was not upset. But it's definitely one of those parenting things of, I'll take what I can get for the money I spent. You know?
Yeah. Well, when they're a certain age, that's you know, it's like going to a movie. That's a roll of the dice. You really don't know how that's going to go.
And I've talked about that with Logan already. I already know. Leland, I'm not even going to try for a movie right now. Maybe so, if I can, and it's always, again, trying to find that perfect storm of, if I can get a weekday off, early matinee, and just take him to be like, all right, you got to sit and watch the movie. Like, you can't mess around on the, you know, like, it's not like at home where you can play on the couch while you're watching the movie. You've got to sit and watch.
Right.
With that child, because you know it, he's our ball of energy.
Yeah.
You know, so he's always ready to go. So try to sit him, even in like a kid's movie that's maybe an hour and a half long. Yeah, that's going to be a rough call sometime.
Yeah, that's like a Sunday day if you're going to go to the theater at their age.
Yeah,
we used to love to go, like, you know, the first show of the day, you know, especially a kids movie.
Oh,
and that way, you know, my daughter would love to, because at the end of every movie, my daughter used to love to go dance in front of the theater. She still wants to. She fights it because she's at that age. She's like, it's not cool anymore. But
yeah, I'm not a kid.
Yeah, I'm not a kid, but I can see.
But you're a kid.
Yeah, I can see when if any movie we've seen, if it's really bumping down, we're walking out of the theater, I can see her kind of go.
Look at the head.
She's like that, and she walks out.
Yep.
Oh, how they grow up. But
I know, right? But yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I mean, there's a reason why we call Logan Sour Patch. I mean, because he loves so much stuff like that, but the just the right thing will hit him, and he's just like, no, I'm done. Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, man, I know you enjoy it. Just roll with the dice, bro.
Yeah.
just have a good
go
time.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
He's my serious thinker, man. And it gets to him. But
You're going to have the thinker in the party here?
So far, that's what it is, man. And
one's cleaning up the other's mess all the time.
Dude, and when they have collusion, the collusion in my household sometimes, holy shit.
Oh, I bet.
Dude.
They flank you. They flank you from all.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Especially when it comes, especially asking to do certain things.
Yeah.
You know, like there's places you can go, obviously, and go have a fun time during the day that's cost effective.
Yeah.
You know, or not too costly for your family. But, you know, the important thing is with spring break coming up.
Yeah.
And with everything going on, you're not going to see like many people like going out of town. To go to these things, I mean, it's just too damn costly.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And there's a lot of risks involved now, you know?
Because again, people, fortunately, so many people are still trying to be safe with everything. You're always going to have the people that are just,
right,
I'll say that or whatever
safe.
about it. Yeah,
not safe.
Not safe, sure. That's a great way to put it. I was still being nice, but yes, that's maybe a better way to put it. And just trying to really make this work because, you know, the ideal time when everybody had the budget, when everything was shut down. Now I shouldn't even say ideal because unfortunately there were plenty of people out of work, but they were also less bills at the time too. Less gas money was being used, less, you know, things like that.
Well, no, I don't know. I'd have to counter that with more would be more resources at home. Like you used more water. You know, you use more power.
That's true too. That's why I say it's. You gotta. Each situation is so different. It's
your
hard
fuel
to
cost
say.
was down. You know,
right.
Your car that had, you know, still needed an inspection sticker. You weren't fucking worried about that.
Right.
You'll get to that when you get to that.
If you could have let that slide for an extra month or two at one point a couple years ago,
yeah.
Shit. Done.
Yeah, I've actually, I mean, personally, for me, I used to be really terrible with stuff like that, and I would always forget or like let it slide.
Oh, I was bad about stuff like that. For
becoming a parent, I'm now like, you know, I make sure I take care of it ahead of time and all that stuff.
Because you can't afford that ticket to go to court for a day and blah 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 blah. Yeah, you don't need all that.
Things like that, you know, the dominoes do fall, and that's the thing about going out of town or going on vacation, like spring break. Yeah, there's a lot of inherent risk right now with everything going on, but the cost is the cost. It's if you're gonna drive, I mean, fuck. If you're gonna drive right now and you're gonna go like far to town and you're doing okay financially, like you're financially at a point where like that's not really an issue. I'm happy for you. Like more power to you.
Do what
I know,
you can.
Like, for me to be like, the cost alone would be like, all right, there and back is all right. There's half the budget. No, it's like pretty much like okay, food. We'll just make sandwiches in the car. No, we're not that bad, but.
But see, I'm willing to do that much.
I am too.
So like you can, you know, I'm willing to be, and I remember I guess I'm remembering so much of the stigma that went with the people that made their own food and took it with them to places like amusement parks and stuff. It was so like, you're at an amusement park, you should be eating at the whatever cafe thing or blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. No, people are just, even back in like times where the economy wasn't that bad.
Yes. Back in the olden days.
Oh my goodness. I'm just, you know, old man tangent here, definitely about that. It was crazy to think that was such a stigma of like, oh, you packed your own sandwiches. Weird. Yeah. You're so weird. Now I'm just like, no, we could, dude, packing our 2 sandwiches for each person would be like $20 cheaper than buying lunch at the park. You know, where it's just like, yeah, dude, I totally see that end of it now. You know, where it's just fuck.
I know growing up when our mom took us, I mean, especially in the early 90s, like if you went, when I look back at it, it was probably a lot cheaper to eat the food there.
Well,
it wasn't as expensive.
We're talking about where pricing was way different then.
But we did used to bring food, like we would bring snacks and bring cooler and bring drinks, and they have a picnic area. And we did that a lot, and I loved it because even though I liked the bad food in the park, let's be honest. Most of the food in theme parks are not great. They're pretty goddamn low quality.
Right.
I mean, and you're paying a high value price for a low quality product.
Yeah. Well, see, and I'm coming from that mentality that I just said, because we were the same way. I mean, whenever possible, we packed the lunches. We, had the cooler. Trust me, we know about that from different events we did growing up and just what was available to us at the time. That mentality was, I look at it more as when you were a teenager and you thought everything was so unlimited to you. Yeah, I work my part-time job and I can still get $20-$30 from mom and dad or something and be able to go to the park for a day and blah, 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 and it's okay. And you're just like, why are people doing that? No, you didn't realize it as a kid when you did do it. Teenager was still like, I mean, I know stuff costs money, but if you're at a park, you should be able to afford it, was the mentality. But now you're just like, you gotta...
I think that depends on if you were in a group. If you were with other people, like friends or other parents.
That has a lot of...
You knew you were probably embarrassed if you didn't get the same thing they did,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, well, we can't have what you have, we can't afford what you have. And that's pretty normal.
Yeah, like you're going with your family,
right?
But you're able to invite your friend, and your friend's parents were able to just drop whatever money so he can do whatever.
You gave me $50 to just spend on whatever.
Well, I mean,
$50.
I mean a ham and cheese, and you're able to go get that. Even though you think about it now, and as much as like I'm about to use a hamburger, and as much as I use a hamburger, I love hamburgers. I love cheeseburgers. It's one of my passionate foods that I'm just like, I love a good cheeseburger. But dude, the cheeseburgers there at somewhere like even now, like I can only imagine for King's Dominion
it's like eating a brick or eating something, or depending on what park you're at, it's like eating a brick or eating something mushy.
And just the oil, the sugars,
and that's where especially being older, being a parent. When me and my kid go, or me and Jem or whatever, I think about all that now.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm not going to eat as much as I want, like a fried fucking Oreo. Like, what is that going to do to me? Like, is the reward? Is it worth? Is it the cost?
Extra week at the gym, or an extra hour a day at the gym for a week worth one fried Oreo?
Right.
It's like.
Yeah, or an extra hour on the toilet, and then another.
That's true too.
And another 24 hours of recovering from that 1 hour of the toilet.
Just getting those BGs going.
Yeah.
So is this our big sitcom, dad 80s sitcom moment where we're just having to explain this is how a budget works?
Yeah. Oh, this
is why we may not have what everybody else has, but we make do.
Sweetie. I don't want you to think that I don't trust you, and I don't want you to think that I was yelling and that I don't love you. But you have to understand that saving money is important. And if you save money now, it gives you a stronger tomorrow, stronger future, okay?
It helps you learn responsibility for your financial needs.
Then you won't have to live like the other 99%. Dad.
Oh, give me my $1,000. No,
give me my iPhone, 13, and get the fuck out of my room.
But that's I mean, it was. I mean, perfect example of just like, don't judge somebody just because they pack a lunch to an amusement park. I mean, it really is.
No, first off, that's the thing, is that there are ways to cut costs so you can go and do these things where you don't have to feel like later on you're going to be stretched by it.
Yeah.
Just to give your kid a memory. But I understand the need to want to give your kid the memory.
Exactly.
And that's the important thing, is that memory. It costs a lot for Disney. At the time, I was able to do it. It was easier to do it, and I was in a position to. So I took the shot. Doing it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Because even now, my daughter remembers it, and we talk about it all the time, so we keep it fresh in her memory.
Yeah.
But she's like, "Oh, it'd be great. I don't need to go back, but it'd be great." That's she's always gonna have that experience, and I'm gonna have that experience.
Yeah.
So it was worth it at the time because I could do it, because I knew I wasn't going to be hurting later on.
And here's another balance on things as well, is where you have the one child. I've got two. And with the age gap, it's not a huge one, but it's enough to, are both children going to get a good enough experience?
No.
See, because
they're going to get different experiences.
Exactly.
One's going to remember, and one's not.
Because as both you and I, being the youngest sibling out of our families, where I look at my youngest child and sit there and go, oh, we can go do this killer thing, but he's going to be so much more limited on certain things.
Sure. I have my brothers, even my mom now, will be like, we did that all the time. And I'm like, I don't fucking remember. I was 4.
Yeah, because I may have been there, but I was either had to wait to the side or do something a little bit different.
I'm having a hard time remembering yesterday. So,
well,
I mean,
exactly.
What did I eat again? Right. So.
But yeah, that's my big dilemma of where... Because we're even seeing that in some of the day-to-day stuff where it's just like, no, dude, you've got to let your older brother, I know you look up to him and you almost verbatim copy what he does most of the time.
Let's not go that far.
When it comes to, I've got another gamer in the house now.
Oh, well, so, watching it from a parental aspect, yes.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I was like saying from a sibling aspect. I was like,
no.
I love my brothers, but I don't want to be exactly like them.
No. Parents viewing is, but that's why I'm saying that's why we're having to look at it. Leland now.
Yeah.
Is sitting there going, you've been able to do, kind of walk hand in hand with your brother for a lot of stuff. That's not always going to be the case, man. Now, we do what we can to have their own things. Mm-hmm. But it's, and again, from our own personal experience, there are times where you're just like, why the hell am I not able to do that? Because they're able to do it.
Right. Well, I mean, that's life. I mean, that's growing up. And that's why, you try to, if you figured it out, try to teach
I said
your
it was difficult. Not, not that it wasn't being done, but it's just, it's difficult.
Oh, no, it is extremely difficult. But life forces you out of your comfort zones.
For sure.
When you get older, even when you can control your comfort zones, whether you want to get out of them or not. Life is eventually going to move you right out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's just something that's just a natural part, of learning. But to get, and that's where the good memories come in, and that's where picking the right times. But it really does, and if you're a financially responsible parent, it really does boil down to what you can do and what is worth doing. And for me, I will tell you, if spring breaks next week, I have my, I take my daughter somewhere. We're not going anywhere crazy expensive.
Right.
But she's going to have a good memory.
Right. There will still be some type of activity, some type of event that is done.
Right.
To give something a little bit extra. For sure, yeah.
Point in fact, this weekend, I get to take my daughter on a little daddy-daughter date to the Lion King.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. See, there alone is awesome.
The whole, the Broadway, traveling Broadway thing, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It was like a gift, basically. So, but because of that,
your computer's doing something.
I know. Now
rude.
It's those Windows updates. Now it's decided to live.
Stupid Windows.
But even that, I'll take her and we'll go out to a nice little daddy-daughter dinner. You know what she says? I want to go to Chipotle. I'm like, I'm ready to take you. We should go. We'll go get steaks or something. Right, you want to go get Chipotle? Okay,
sure. Again, budget, bro.
But see, that's where I've tried to instill in her is that we can go do a lot of things as long as we're smart about it, and they don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be what everyone else is doing.
And that's even part of the conversations that we've had. Logan, who's a couple years behind your child, where, part of this is even on some nights where it's just I give the typical dad response where he's just like, I want to order food because he knows he's not going to be happy with whatever we're making for dinner. And I sit there and we will sit there. We're like, are you going to pay for it?
Yeah. Yeah, you got the money for that?
No, but you got the money. I was like,
I got the money for that.
I was like, we may have the money for that, but I was like, should I get rid of something? Should I sell your games if you want to order food?
Right.
Where I'm just
Didn't you just get a new whatever? Didn't you just want? Did you just Roblox and you wanted 50 Roblox?
That kid just got a new pair of Vans a few weeks ago. I don't want to hear it.
Oh yes.
So
right. Well, that was then. You know that. Right?
Oh yeah. 3 weeks ago doesn't matter now.
No.
We're talking.
I have to have shoes.
Live in the now, Dad.
Right.
Live in the now.
I swear, and that's like going out to do anything, and that's what it's like with kids. But if you go to a park with them, even if they know, like, all right, even like, listen,
yeah,
here's the deal. We brought this, or we have snacks for that.
Yep.
So we're not going to go crazy. Once you get in there, they change. They're like, I don't give a fuck. I want this. I want that.
I have in-law family out in the Midwest. We took the boys to the Great Lakes Aquarium every so often. Something, even Leland. He was like maybe 2 or like 1 even, some in between that type of age. Even now he'll pipe in and be like, he'll see a picture or something from him and be like, hey, let's go back. Dude, we're not flying out to Minnesota, Wisconsin right now to go see your grandmother and great aunt. No.
Yeah.
Was it a great, we had a great time. Obviously it was a great experience for the boys, but that's where kind of a second wave hits of stuff of where you are able, the stuff that you are able to do, but the realization of, no, dude, we can't go do that like every day.
Yeah.
You got to realize certain things are, you don't want to say bigger events, but more.
Well, I don't know. I try to make it known that certain things are a special thing. Not a common thing.
For sure. Yeah. That's a better way to put it.
Like spending $11 for 2 hours at a jump place like Surge, where your kid can just do like all the foam obstacle courses they want until they pass out.
Yeah.
That could be a common thing.
Right. Which is another kick that we're on as well. Is the Surge Park.
That's something that's okay. I mean, it's special because I'm doing it for you, and it's special because you're going to enjoy it. But but it's not special like it would be going out of town or going to Disney or going to a theme park.
A full trip, so to say.
Sure. That's definitely a special thing. Going to the movies, that's a common thing, especially for us in this house.
Yeah. Well, the wife got a new job, so hopefully that's going to be a little bit more common again for us. That's nice. Been one of the hardest parts. Yeah. So, especially Logan has definitely been interested in movies. So we love going to the movies. Like I say, it's going to be my little ball of energy that I'm going to have to figure out how that works best.
I will say out there, since we're talking about general cost and is it worth it? There of course a lot of things are worth it if you can do it, and they're worth it if you can plan for it, and they're worth it if it happens in the moment. But a good test of things like a movie theater, for example, like if you're not sure how your kid will do in a movie theater, and it's just easier to stream shit at home, get a projector. I'm not talking like a 2000.
No, which we've got, and we do summertime. Yeah. We do summertime movies out in the backyard.
Right. And that to me, like those summertime movies are going to be far more memorable for them. For sure, because going to the theater.
We make the s'mores. We sometimes cook out, on the grill while we're out there. For different stuff like that. Absolutely.
I guess I'm going to amend that's an event. That's a special thing, but it's it's on a different level special. Like it's not like we got to pack up and go out of town and we're going to be away for 2 weeks.
This whole conversation is going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
Period. Whether where your financial status is to what you just have available on a day-to-day. Mm-hmm. In general, it's going to be different. And
let me ask you a question. I know I cut off your train of thought there.
Thanks, man.
But let me ask you a question. Is it more worth it to you, do you think? And let's say with your kids, a couple 3 years older, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at those ages where definitely want to take them to a place like Disney sort of thing.
Sure.
Is it more worth it to you? And do you think, for being the con guy you are, as well as I like cons, too.
Sure.
To do a theme park or a con? What do you think can produce?
Ooh.
Now, obviously, two monstrally different things, but
right.
Very much in the way the experience can be just as big, depending on what they like and what you love, and they see that you love. Like, oh my God, my kid's tired of hearing that now, but when she was their age, like she used to love to hear it.
Both the boys like the cons. Now, obviously, more something like your standard nerdy comic book convention would be more their wheelhouse. But again, like we've talked about, they've been to a Monster Mania.
Yeah.
And they both, for the like, you see some of those pictures and you're like, oh, that was awesome. And both the boys look either tired or like grumpy or something. But overall, both of them still are like, yeah, that was kind of cool. And, this and that.
Most of the time they look like that. When you see those Disney pictures or like even the Kings of Minions.
I'm sure the smile is.
Their smiles are they're not there or they're fit or they're,
Yeah. But the regular conventions. Like, I say more comic book related or general geek conventions, I should say, they definitely like, for various reasons, like Logan, my main gamer guy, he knows that usually there's a video game room set up. So at one point he'll be able to go in and play around on games.
Sure.
But he likes seeing some of the other stuff, but he's also my shy guy. Mm. So trying to meet or talk with people, like he was actually like, what was it? There was 1 year at the convention where there was like the voice actor for like Bowser and a couple of the Mario characters, and that's when he was really into his Mario Kart phase for gaming. But he was just kind of like, hey, and just sort of stood behind me a little bit.
Yeah,
that's just the way he rolls. Leland, dude, he saw the dude dressed up like 89 Batman and was freaking out. Between him and seeing stormtroopers and Darth Vader, that kid was ecstatic the whole day.
Right. Yeah.
And he was cool with and just seeing some of the other stuff, he was cool. For the most part, and this was a few years ago now, for the most part, it would basically be the same. Now, if we were to do a big trip again, I would still want to almost stick with the conventions because they would like the amusement park stuff. And if we can do something like King's Dominion where stuff is more regular, that could change. But for their experience and what we've been able to do with some bigger events, the conventions are easier way to go.
Well, they are
at
easy.
This point, as long as for a day. Well, to do a full weekend with them is no. It's better to do a day.
Then consider a bigger one then. Go into a place like Disney World, Disneyland, Orlando, whatever.
Right.
Or like a San Diego Comic-Con. Now that is a different story.
That's almost.
What would be more worth it to you financially? Because both are going to be ridiculously expensive
for the kids, and even a little bit for myself. And I'll explain after I actually answer. I would even say, even for myself with the kids, the amusement park.
Yeah.
Only because the convention, like something like San Diego, and I only say because San Diego, I've never been, but from what I've talked to, from direct experience with people, even the people who have done Q&As, panels there and stuff, that's, San Diego is, nobody will say it directly, but it's almost gotten too big for its britches. Mm-hmm. Like, there's almost too much stuff going on that you can't do everything. Now, of course, you could go multiple years. You could spend thousands of dollars and still not get everything.
You're not going to do everything in a general con anyway.
But if I want to find collector stuff, I'm not going to spend admission pricing to get into San Diego Comic-Con just to... Now, would I want to go hear somebody talk?
That's going to be a lot higher level collecting. I mean, I'm sure collectors even...
That's a higher level than I'm worried about collecting right now.
I really don't know. I mean, I'm sure collectors around here would be like, you don't know what you're talking about, shut the fuck up.
Sure.
You know what? Fair enough. I don't, but...
I can only talk about what I've seen and what I've heard third hand.
Yeah.
So, to me, the amusement park would be the way to go because for kids, most kids... And the way and I know the way my children are, that interaction is what they need, which is what the amusement park provides.
Right.
They could have a good time at a convention, certain conventions for a certain time. But to sit there, they could give two shits for me wanting to go into like Hall Q to go watch Kevin Smith talk for 3 hours. They would be bored out of their freaking mind.
Well, sure they would.
And to me, and that's what I see. Like, I mean, and to me, people they would be cool with stuff and different things like that. But for them to get the richest experience for this age and for the way I know my children are, amusement parks would be a better choice.
Okay, fair enough. I will counter that with saying that I don't disagree. But my counter is that
is there really a wrong? I mean, there's no wrong answer.
But no. Just from a debate aspect on one versus the other, I don't. My counter is just that if it's something too big for its britches, believe me, any normal day you could take your kids to an amusement park. Let's say you go in a weekend.
Right.
It's going to be just as crazy, and lines are going to be out the ass. You're going to be waiting for rides for a long. You're going to be standing in line for 45 minutes for a ride, or an hour, sometimes 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, if you take that into account, I know that with my kid, she would love to go. But if I was like, we're going to go, like, if I gave her a choice now, I'm almost certain she would choose something like Comic-Con. Like, she would choose it because it's a more direct experience for her for things that she loves.
Yeah.
And she, because she's older now, she's a little more into that,
Yeah, well, and see that, and that's where, like, Logan will just be like, where's the video game room? That's always going to be his first thing. And I'm just like, cool, we could do that. We could go check out the games. But then it's a hassle to get him to do anything else now.
Yeah.
So with an amusement park, that's out the window. There's enough going on. Yes, you're going to deal with lines and different stuff. But even with the conventions, you're still, like, how we managed that Monster Mania that one time, and we had the kids, and with the wagon and the stroller and everything else we were doing, holy shit.
So this whole conversation is moot now because as I was just trying to look up a fact for Orlando Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yeah.
They are going to be opening a Super Nintendo World.
Well, so my answer stands when it comes to at least my oldest child. Well, both of them, because like I say, even both my kids now are becoming the gamers as well.
I mean, that's so mean. It's mean is what it is. It's so mean. It's like if you're gonna have that in if that's gonna be in Florida, it's like I don't want to go to Florida.
Yeah.
I don't want to go unless it's like Key West and like as far out as possible.
No, it's going to be in the middle of nowhere because they got to have the huge property to build it and.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're Universal is huge too.
Yeah,
so they have the Harry Potter theme park.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and this is how. But that is exactly really where the core of the conversation is because that is nostalgia for me, right?
Right.
Or for you.
Yeah.
And for me, it's huge nostalgia. I mean, I'm literally in the middle of playing on my mini Super Nintendo, Legend of Zelda. So I'm halfway through it. I grew up with it. It was one of my favorites. The first thing I ever really owned. And Lorelai loves it. And I've shared it with her. We play Mario Kart all the time.
Right. So, we have our Wii that's rigged for some extra games that I think I told you about. That's where Logan has played Mario Kart multiple times and Super Mario 3 because he loves the raccoon tail.
But so now sharing that nostalgia and playing those games with her, if we were to go there, she would flip out.
Yes.
She would flip out.
Yep. Well, Leland was Luigi for Halloween this past year.
Yeah, which is super awesome.
And he picked his costume. I had no bearing on that, and he saw that Luigi shit. Like, that was probably one of the most expensive shit I had to buy. But, no, I take that back because Logan's Fortnite costume wasn't exactly cheap either. But
that's a different discussion that we will get to during Halloween time.
Yes, we have a Halloween 2022 coming up.
Ridiculous prices of costumes each year.
Exactly. Yeah. So, But again, it still all comes down to where you pick and choose, you do what you can, because you do want to give your children everything, but you have to find the right battle to fight and
don't confuse cost with
something that's better
with a good memory.
Right.
Don't assume that because you're spending you're spending a bunch of money going here that it's going to turn out the way you expect. Or it's going to leave the lasting effect that you want.
Right, exactly.
It will and will always boil down to the little moments. And there's your little sitcom theme.
You know where else it is. No, I like your speech from before better. So, but I mean, but then that just shows the age of the crow that we grew up with. Is that it's all the little things.
It's the little things.
It is, and it truly is, guys. Oh, geez, man, we've made good time here, and actually, this is probably a good time to start wrapping up. Like,
a very old man thing to say.
Yeah.
Made some good time.
Well, made good time.
Well, stopped to pee one time.
I'm that driver that I will try to beat the time on the.
Well, you got
maps.
two boys too, so
Yeah.
I mean, they're sitting in the back and be like, "We're not stopping, guys. Here's the bottles.
Yeah,
Get it done."
wait till they're a little bit older with aim. Until then, but it's still the Gatorade wide mouth bottles.
You gotta do the wide. Listen, if you have trouble with that,
yeah, that's.
I don't even. More power to you.
Maybe that'll be a great summertime episode that we talk about is road trips.
Oh,
see the difference on road trips.
The rules of a road trip and multiple kids too. Woo.
Oh yeah, which we've done.
Yeah, we
have done it, and good and bad. So I'll say, but again, memorable. Yeah, to say the least.
Well, and the next one I'll explain my plan for doing it, going coast to coast.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Obviously, those plans are farther on hold, gas prices and all. Unless I get an all-electric vehicle or somehow, put a bunch of fucking solar panels all over the car and ride on what I can at night.
Good luck and pedal while you're at it.
Yeah. But since my kid will be with me, it's probably better, and Jem, probably better that I got stuff that works. So
good idea.
We'll talk about the adventure in the future Airstream or a little RV that I'll own.
Absolutely. But guys, we wanted to make sure we covered this just to have something fun to talk about. Hopefully, again, like we always say, if you're able to take a little bit from this, I don't even want to say a learning experience, just something else you can add to your repertoire of how you handle your day-to-day and what you need to do. Hopefully, we've been able to help with that. Mm-hmm. Because we know besides COVID and the quarantine times, there's other things happening that, of course, we're not going to dive into, but obviously have made a big effect on how we're living. So that's, you
gotta adopt. You gotta adapt with the times.
Exactly.
Adapt or die.
Ebb and flow is our motto these days for real. Like we've had to mentally and how we do things have had to change almost daily at times. Right. So
evolve or go extinct.
That's right, guys. So hopefully this was a fun little discussion, something for you guys to look forward to. Definitely, the best thing I can say for any of those trips is just plan out the best you can. I mean, there's always going to be a monkey wrench thrown in there somewhere. Hopefully, it's minor, doesn't affect anything on the long term, but just be prepared for it. Do what you can, but again, a lot of times the kids aren't looking for the big stuff. They are looking for just those certain times with you, the parents. Just do the best you can with them, and hopefully that those memories are there for better or for worse.
No, let's hope they're not there. Yeah,
No, you want them. You want the good memories. Just sometimes the good memories, come from like when your kid is crying about something silly. That's a good memory, but more so for later for them. It's good for you now because you're just like, look at what my kid was doing. But
yeah, that's true. And kids will oftentimes turn that into their mind will remember it as more of a positive thing than probably it really went down.
Exactly.
But with that said, good luck to any parent out there, especially geeky parents who just have those nerd obsessions that you love to share with the kids.
I mean, I'll admit, like,
it's expensive.
The Star Wars experience and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I eyeball that stuff and you're like, oh, that would be so much fun. The kids would love it, blah, blah, blah. I have to work a second job for 2 years for me to afford it, stuff like that. It's frustrating, guys. So just do what you can within your wheelhouse. I don't even like to say it that way, but I mean it as in what your means are.
Yeah.
Stick within your means. Don't hurt yourself where you are financially, emotionally, just because you think you're trying to give your kids something. Those amusement parks or some type of amusement park will be here for a long, long time. There will be different ways, different things that can be done to make some great memories, guys. And if you're already in a position like myself in Smash or however it may vary, because obviously we are definitely on no high-end spectrum of financial means or whatever.
But we're crafty.
We're crafty.
In a totally, stand-up way. I just mean that we're good with how we...
By no means, please, no illegal activity. No. We are not endorsing anything that would cause harm to others.
Absolutely not.
Please.
No, just more in the logistical way or even financials and how we do it. And you have to be... And hopefully everybody out there is going to be able to have some sort of good time and do something. Just remember, it's not about what you spend.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why being crafty can actually be more fun with it than you think. Mm-hmm. Some people think being crafty with this stuff means that you're having to bend over backwards for the same thing. It's really not.
Hell no.
You can make a whole new experience with the guys. So, but enough of our ramblings. You get the gist of what we talk about, and hopefully you've enjoyed this episode like so many of our other episodes.
I love our rambles.
Our old man tangents.
I get the hell off my lawn.
There you go. Guys, so thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have a full episode in the books again. Again, we try to do the full episodes, but again, we're parents. We've got the family and stuff we got to do, so it happens. Fair enough, and that's where I get very apologetic. So I'm sorry about that as well. But guys,
let them go. Let's let them go.
Let's let them go, guys. So just so you know, too, a quick update. There have been some changes with GalaxyCon. Keep it on the website. Let us know if you need anything. We'll update as soon as you can. Just by the time we recorded this, we're in an influx of information, so we just can't say anything definite.
Yes.
Right now, but there are changes happening with GalaxyCon. But if you, regardless, have a good time. If you've already planned on going to GalaxyCon, doing this and that, go have a great time.
Maybe we'll see you there.
Yeah, we still plan on hanging out. There's some great local vendors, some great celebrities that'll be there. Other than that, guys, if you still want to keep in contact with us, you know where to find us on the Facebook with the Geekfathers. Of course, right. Twitter, we have @Geekfather1, @Geekfather1.
Let's go on that Instagerm.
The Instagerm. What's the Instagram? I always forget. Geekfather GUI, I believe. @Geekfather GUI.
Yep.
Yeah,
sure.
that's
sure. Yep.
You'll be able to find it that way, guys. But catch up with us. We'll still be around regardless. Seeing everything going on. Of course, just go to GUIPodcast.com to catch all the episodes, all the other shows as well. Go see our friends at TeePublic.
That's right. They got a lot of discounts. Or I think a current discount going on.
There should be a lot of the times there's some type of sale going on,
or it might be ending soon before something starts.
We are finalizing a couple of designs that I'm gonna say I'm hoping within a couple months we'll be able to have posted up there. But bear with us again. We're the way we've got to work on a few things. But we do have some new Geekfather designs coming out for you guys, so plenty more to find. So go out there, be good guys, one community, one tribe. Just don't forget, join us.
Or cry.
Mike the Hobbit here.
Lowdown Brown.
Inviting you to check out Geek Some of the Influence, a podcast that pairs booze with conversation with good friends.
And a little nerd culture.
We get a lot of colorful conversation out of our episodes, but it is here for everyone. No gatekeeping.
Always level up everything we do.
We'll punch up, never punch down.
Exactly.
So check out Geeks Under the Influence everywhere you get your podcasts and join us or die.
Shut the fuck up, Hobbit. Welcome to GUI Nights.
GUI Nights.
Yeah, I am Lowdown Brown. With me as always,
Mike the Hobbit.
This is the tangential side of GUI.
This is like so many of those other shows that has the after the show bit mixed with a little bit of Baywatch Nights, so it's a little sexier. It's a little bit after hours.
Also while tying it into the previous episode of GUI. So look forward to that too, because this comes out the week after the flagship hour-long episode.
So make sure to check out GUI Nights, and when you're done, you can
go the fuck home.
GUIPodcast.com